It started on a cold Friday night in late October, just a few days before Halloween, the kind of night where the streets feel abandoned. The air smells like wet leaves, and even your breath seems too loud. The sun had gone down hours ago, but the sky still held a faint, eerie glow, like it refused to let go of the day. That's when Mike's phone buzzed. "Yo, you down for something stupid?" That was Justin. And when Justin asked a question like that, Mike already knew the answer. Was yes. He didn't even have to ask what it was. 15 minutes later, Mike was in the back of Travis's old beat-up pickup, bouncing down a gravel road at the edge of town. They were heading toward the one place their parents had warned them about. For years, the drainage tunnel under Highway 8, locally known as the Echo Pipe, every town has its local legend. This was theirs. Back in the 90s, a high school kid named Kevin Raines was dared to walk through the whole tunnel. Supposedly, it stretched for over a kilometer under the highway, just wide enough for someone to crouch walk through. Kevin entered one night and never came out the other side. His friends thought he was messing with them, so they waited. Then they got scared. Search parties combed the area for days, but they never found Kevin. No body, no blood. No sign of him at all. Eventually, the story faded into rumor. People said he probably ran away, or the whole thing was made up, but the tunnel stayed. And so did the stories. Most kids knew to stay away. But for three guys in their early 20s bored, buzzed from gas station beers, and chasing a Halloween thrill, the Echo Pipe was too good to resist. As they parked in the dirt lot near the woods, the first thing they noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind, the too quiet kind. No frogs, no crickets, no wind. Just dead air and the crunch of leaves under their boots as they walked toward the tunnel entrance. It came into view slowly, half covered in vines and rusted bars, like something nature had been trying to forget. The pipe's mouth was wide and black, a giant open wound at the base of a hill. Faint graffiti covered the sides. Most of it was old and faded, but some of it looked fresh. "I thought it'd be smaller," Mike said, adjusting the flashlight on his phone. "Like crawl space size." Justin shook his head. "Nope." Kevin walked in. "Whole way through. Least, that's what the story says." Story. "Also says he never came back out," Travis muttered. Nobody laughed. Justin broke the silence. "All right, here's the deal. We go in halfway, record a little video, and come right back. Easy. Like 20 minutes max." Mike looked around. "How do we know when we hit halfway?" "We'll guess," Travis said. "Not like there's a map." That was enough. They clicked on their flashlights and ducked into the darkness. Immediately, the temperature dropped. 10 degrees at least. Their lights barely cut through the black. The walls were damp and stained, covered in mildew and weird markings. Water dripped from somewhere deep inside, echoing like footsteps behind them. The floor sloped slightly downhill, and there was just enough room to crouch walk without hitting their heads. Within a minute, the world outside disappeared. The only sound was their breathing and the occasional splash when someone stepped in. A puddle. About 5 minutes in, Mike stopped walking. "Yo, is it just me, or does this place smell like meat?" Justin sniffed the air. "Yeah, like something's rotting." They kept going. As they moved deeper, the tunnel seemed to stretch. Their footsteps started echoing weirdly, bouncing back from strange directions. Sometimes they heard what sounded like extra footsteps. But when they stopped, so did the sound. "Could be water dripping," Travis offered, but he didn't sound convinced. They passed a broken wooden plank, half buried in sludge. A little further in, they saw something stranger. An old cassette player just sitting there, crusted in rust but real. Mike picked it up. "This looks ancient. Think it's from the 90s? "Don't touch that," Justin snapped. "You want tetanus?" Mike dropped it. Then the first sign. On the right wall, scratched deep into the concrete, was a name. Kevin R. They froze. Could be fake, Travis said. Anyone could have carved that. But it looks fresh, Mike whispered. Look at the edges, not even weathered. Maybe someone just keeps the legend alive, Justin said, but he avoided eye contact. They pressed on, but something had changed. The air felt heavier. The tunnel seemed to press in tighter around them. The silence behind them felt unnatural, like it had swallowed the outside world completely. No one wanted to admit it, but all three of them felt the same thing. They weren't alone anymore. Then, up ahead, a flicker. Not white like a flashlight, more like orange. Is that a fire? Mike asked, squinting. No, Justin said slowly. It's a candle. Travis stepped forward. Why the hell would there be a candle down here? They stood still, watching. The flame danced far down the tunnel, untouched by any draft dot, and then it moved. Not the candle. Something next to it, just a flicker of motion. A shadow, maybe. Or a figure, standing, waiting. That was when Mike said what they were all thinking. We should go back. But it was already too late. They had passed the halfway point, and whatever was ahead of them had been waiting for years. Asterisk, they stood frozen in the tunnel, flashlights shaking in their hands, staring at that tiny flame way down the concrete throat of darkness. It was a candle. No doubt about it now. A single steady flame sitting dead center, in the path ahead. But it wasn't the candle that had them all locked in place. It was what had moved beside it. None of them said it out loud, but they all saw it. A shadow humanoid, tall, and just there for a split second, like it had stepped forward, and then melted into the wall. Travis broke the silence first. Nope, this is where we turn around. He spun on his heel and aimed his light back the way they came, but his face dropped. His eyes didn't lie, and neither did the light. Guys, he whispered. The tunnel behind us, it looks different. They turned. He was right. When they'd entered, it was a straight shot. They could still see a sliver of moonlight behind them. But now, just pitch black. The path they came from was still there. But it looked darker than before, like the light wasn't allowed to touch it. Almost like the tunnel had shifted behind them. Mike stepped forward, lifted his light, and waved it around. The air was thicker. It felt like walking through wet wool. Breathing was harder now. Every inhale tasted metallic, like old pennies. Or blood. The smell of rot was stronger too, turning their stomachs. Let's just go back, Travis muttered. Wait, Justin said. Let's keep calm. We're probably just freaking ourselves out. But that didn't explain the sound out at first. It was subtle, just a soft clicking noise coming from the darkness. Like fingernails tapping on concrete. It echoed oddly, distant but close at the same time, like it was everywhere at once. Then came the voice, faint, raspy, almost a whisper. Don't leave? They all froze, hearts pounding, flashlights swinging wildly. I heard that, Mike said. I freaking heard that. Someone's in here with us. Travis pulled out his phone. I'm calling someone. Screw this. He dialed. No bars. He turned the flashlight on his phone toward his screen. No Wi-Fi. No signal. Nothing. It's like the tunnel's blocking it, he said. Justin looked ahead again, eyes locked on the candle. You guys realize we're already halfway. If we keep going, it should only be, 10 more minutes to the other side? I'm not going toward that light, Mike snapped. Whatever we saw by that candle, it's waiting. More clicking. Louder now. Faster. And something else. Dripping. They hadn't noticed before, but the floor was damp now. Their sneakers were soaked. And it wasn't from puddles. It was spreading, slow and deliberate, like something was leaking from the walls. Travis knelt and touched the floor. It wasn't water. It was sticky, thick, and red. Dude, he said quietly, holding up his hand. This is blood. All three lights shot down to the floor. The thin liquid was pooling around their feet, seeping out from hairline cracks in the walls. Justin backed up. We need to move. I don't care where. I don't care how. They started walking quickly now, choosing forward instead of back, like some silent instinct told them the way behind was worse. As they moved, the whispers returned, low, fast, overlapping. A dozen voices speaking in a language that didn't sound human. Some laughed. Others cried. One just kept repeating, "Don't look behind you." Mike looked anyway. And that's when he saw it, a figure, crawling on the ceiling. Its limbs were too long, elbows bent the wrong way, face hidden in strands of wet hair. It clung to the tunnel roof like a spider, silently watching, matching their pace. Its mouth moved, whispering something Mike couldn't hear. He screamed. Travis turned to see and froze. "Run," he said. They bolted. Water or blood or whatever it was splashed around their feet. Their lights jittered wildly on the walls, catching flashes of something carved into the concrete. Dozens of scratches, names, whole sentences. Some written in what looked like charcoal. Others smeared in something darker. "I'm still here. It lives in the walls. Don't speak its name." The candle was getting closer. Just ahead now, and next to it, someone was sitting. The figure was hunched, head down, arms limp at their sides. Silent. "Is that a person?" Travis asked, breathless. "I don't care," Justin replied. "We're going around it." But as they moved past, the figure moved, just a twitch of the neck, a jerk of the hand. And then it spoke. "Turn your lights off." The voice was wrong. It was too slow. Like someone trying to imitate human speech. No one listened. They kept walking fast until the candlelight finally faded behind them. But something had changed. The air shifted. The floor felt different, no longer concrete, but soft, like packed earth. The tunnel walls became jagged, broken, like they'd wandered off the main path. Then, ahead of them, another light, but not a candle. This asterisk, a sound. They screamed his name. Nothing, not even an echo, only silence. Then a soft voice came from the tunnel. Behind them, he turned around, and the clicking returned. Closer now, right behind them. Asterisk. Mike and Travis were running now. Blindly. No plan, no direction, just pure panic. The clicking sounds behind them had grown louder, sharper, like claws on tile, echoing through every inch of the tunnel. They didn't dare look back. They didn't call for Justin anymore either, because something in both of them knew he was gone, not lost, not left behind. Gone. The tunnel twisted, sloped downward again, and suddenly the air got colder, bone deep. Cold. Their flashlights flickered as if reacting to something unseen. Mike stumbled, hit the ground hard. Travis yanked him back up by the collar of his hoodie, and they kept moving, panting, shaking. "We're off the main path," Mike gasped. "This isn't where we came from." "I know," Travis said, "but there's no way back." The tunnel here felt different. The walls weren't smooth concrete anymore. They were cracked, jagged, almost like they were inside a cave. The smell had changed to more like wet dirt and copper, something metallic and thick. And underneath it, that sickening rot was stronger than ever. "Dude," Mike whispered, "what the hell is this place?" Travis didn't answer. He couldn't. That's when they saw the light again. Another candle. This one wasn't just sitting. On the ground, it was inside a glass lantern, hanging from a rusted chain bolted into the tunnel ceiling. And underneath it, slumped against the wall, a man. Old, dirty, soaked. His hair clung to his scalp, face pale and hollow. clothes shredded. He looked like he'd been living down there for years. Maybe longer. Mike raised his light. Hey, are you okay? The man didn't move. Travis stepped closer. Sir, we need help. There's something in the tunnel. The man's eyes snapped open. Wide, too wide. Bloodshot and unfocused. He didn't look at them. Not directly. Just stared straight ahead like. He was watching something invisible. His mouth moved slowly. They don't like when you scream, he whispered. They come faster when you scream. Mike backed up. Who comes? The man's head twitched slightly toward them. It was the only time he made full eye contact. The ones in the walls. Travis reached out to touch his shoulder. Don't. The word wasn't spoken aloud, but they both heard it. Deep in their heads. Like a warning carved into the inside of their skulls. They froze, and the man started to hum. A slow, tuneless sound like a broken lullaby. Rocking slightly now. One hand pressed against the wall. Mike aimed his light at where the man was touching. The wall looked wrong. It rippled, almost like it was breathing. We need to go, Mike said, already pulling Travis's sleeve, but then something moved behind the man. A shape in the darkness. Thin, long, not human. It slithered silently along the wall, just behind him. The man didn't react. Didn't flinch. He just whispered, They know you now. The shape stopped, paused, then slowly pulled back into the wall. Gone. Mike and Travis turned and ran again. They didn't speak. They didn't scream. They just ran. Their lights caught more carvings on the walls as they went, scratched, smeared, burned in. It eats time. Don't follow the voices. He never left. Then they heard it again. The whispers. This time closer, stronger. Like people just behind them, whispering in their ears. Travis clutched his head. Make it stop, make it stop. Suddenly he dropped to his knees. Travis. Mike skidded to a halt and turned back. Travis was clawing at his ears now, bleeding. They're in my head, he moaned. They're in my head, Mike. Mike grabbed him, shook him. We have to move. You have to fight it. But Travis's eyes had glazed over. And then he smiled. The kind of smile you see on someone who's already given up. And he said something Mike would never forget. I think I've been here before. Mike slapped him. Snap out of it. Travis blinked. Then screamed. And the tunnel responded. All the sounds vanished, gone. Like someone had muted the world. Then a deafening crack echoed through the space. The walls trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. The clicking returned. Fast, aggressive, angry. Mike dragged Travis to his feet. Come on, move. They stumbled. Forward, light barely holding up. The air grew thick again. Too thick to breathe. Mike's vision blurred. The walls seemed to bend and twist around them, shapes moving just out of reach. Whispers turning to screams, screams into laughter, laughter into something worse. And then just ahead a faint light. But not candlelight. It was daylight. An opening. A way out. Go! Mike shouted, shoving Travis ahead of him. They crawled, climbed, scraped their way toward the light. The tunnel was collapsing around them now, echoing with inhuman shrieks and claws on stone. The sound of something chasing them, close, almost touching them. Then fresh air. Mike felt it first. Cold and clean. He burst through the exit and collapsed on wet grass under the open sky. Travis stumbled out behind him, coughing, shaking. They lay there for a full minute in silence, just breathing. Alive. But something was wrong. Justin wasn't there. And neither of them remembered when he'd vanished. Mike pulled out his phone to call for help. No signal. But something else caught his eye. His phone was still recording. The screen was cracked, the battery almost dead, but the camera feed was on. He watched the last 5 seconds of video. It showed Travis In the tunnel, staring into the darkness, then a shape. A hand. Reaching toward him from the ceiling, then static. Mike looked up at Travis. Do you remember what happened back there? Travis shook his head. No, just noise, then nothing. He looked at his hands. They were covered in tiny scratches, like something had been holding him, watching, waiting. They made it out, but the tunnel didn't let go. Mike and Travis sat in the wet grass for what felt like hours, trying to process what happened. The morning light was gray and cold, filtering through the trees, but at least it was light, real light. They should have felt safe, relieved, grateful to be alive, but instead, something felt wrong, like the nightmare wasn't over, just hiding behind a thin wall of normal. Travis was still shaking. His hoodie was soaked, his fingernails dirty and cracked, and he hadn't said much since they got out. Every now and then, he'd just stop and stare into the trees, like he was waiting to hear something. Mike kept checking his phone. Still no bars, no Wi-Fi, no GPS, and the battery was dying fast, but the most disturbing part? They had no idea where they were. They were supposed to come out on the far side of the highway. That was the whole point. Walk through, come out clean. A dumb dare. But this place, it wasn't near the highway. No cars, no distant traffic, no signs. Just forest, deep, silent, too silent. Mike stood. We've got to move, find a road, a house, something. Travis nodded slowly, but said nothing. They walked for an hour. Then another. No trail, no markers, just trees. The daylight never seemed to brighten, like the sun was stuck behind a curtain. Eventually, they found an old fence, rusted, broken in places. Beyond it was a road, not a highway. Just a cracked two-lane blacktop with no lines. No signs, but it was something. They followed it for another 20 minutes until they saw the house. Small, run down, half-collapsed porch. Looked like no one had lived there in years, but the front door was open. Mike hesitated. Think it's abandoned? Travis finally spoke. Someone's inside. His voice was flat, certain. Mike looked at him. How do you know? Travis didn't answer. Still, they needed help. A phone. A direction. Anything. They stepped onto the porch, boards creaking under their feet. The air around the house was colder than it should have been. Mike pushed the door open. Inside, the place was dark and dusty. Furniture covered in sheets. Faint smell of smoke, like something had burned years ago and never fully aired out. On the wall by the door was a framed photo, tilted sideways. Mike straightened it, then froze. The photo showed 3 boys, teenagers. One of them looked exactly like Justin. Mike's stomach dropped. He checked the back of the photo. There was a year scrawled in faded marker, 1997. That's impossible, he whispered. This can't be real. Then, from deeper in the house, a sound. Scrape, scrape. Tap. Travis moved toward it. Wait, Mike said. Don't go in there. But Travis kept walking, like he was being pulled. Or called. Mike followed, heart pounding. They found themselves in a narrow hallway. The floorboards groaned with each step. On the walls more pictures, all of them old. All of them showing groups of kids, some smiling, some looking terrified. And in every single photo, one face was scratched out. Travis stopped in front of a closed door at the end of the hall. Behind it, the tapping had stopped. He reached for the knob. Mike grabbed his arm. Don't. Travis looked at him, and for a second, just a second, his face wasn't his. It shifted, just slightly. Like something was wearing his skin wrong. Then he blinked, and it was gone. Mike backed away. I think we brought something out with us. Travis nodded slowly. It doesn't like being seen. Before Mike could respond, the door creaked open. Inside was a small room, A desk. A chair. Dust swirling in the dim light. On the desk, a cassette player. The same kind they saw in the tunnel. It clicked and started playing by itself. A boy's voice came through. I made it through. I don't know how long I was in there. The tunnel changes you. You think you're you, but then you realize you're not the one who came out. You're the one it let out. Mike stepped back, horrified. He looked at Travis. Who are you? Travis smiled faintly. You should have kept walking. Suddenly, Mike felt the air shift. Heavy again, metallic. He turned and saw them. In the hallway. Shadows. Tall, bent, crawling across the walls and ceiling like insects. No faces, no feet. Just shapes, wrong shapes, moving with impossible silence. Mike ran. He didn't care where. Just away. Out of the house. Into the trees. Branches slapped his face. Thorns tore his arms. He ran until his lungs burned and his legs gave out. He collapsed in a ditch on the side of a real road, this time with traffic. Headlights in the distance. A truck stopped. A man got out. You all right, son? You look like hell. Mike couldn't speak. Just nodded. He never mentioned the tunnel. Never spoke of Travis or Justin again. 6 months later, Mike moved 2 towns away. Got a new phone. New job. Tried to forget. Then, one night, he got a text. Unknown number. Turn around. He did. Outside his apartment window stood Travis. Or something wearing Travis's face. Not moving. Just watching. Mike closed the blinds. Called the cops. They found nothing. But every now and then, when the power flickers, when the lights dim, when the hallway feels just a little too long, he hears it. That clicking. From behind the walls, like something crawling, something waiting, and sometimes, if he listens close enough, he swears it whispers, "You never left."